Welcome to Sincerely Me, a podcast about self-discovery and inner work so you can cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and show up more fully in your work and life. My name is Tallia and I'm honored to be your host. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. This is crazy. It's the last episode of April, which means it's almost May, which means I'm almost getting married, which is insane. Yes, May 25th is the big day. And where is time going? Somebody please tell me, because I have no idea. What that also does mean, though, for a lucky listener is that next episode, May 1st, will be when I announce the winner of the giveaway to the free coaching session. So if you subscribed, rated, reviewed, and sent me a screenshot of your podcast review, you were entered to win. I have received so many, and I'm so excited to pick a winner. So thank you all for doing that, and stay tuned for the announcement next episode. The topic for the podcast today is uncovering your limiting beliefs. Now, this is a podcast topic that I could talk about for days, so I'm going to try to keep this pretty short and simple, but it's something that I do in my coaching work daily with clients, right? Yes, clients come to me to achieve certain results, but at the end of the day, what we're spending most of our time doing is uncovering what's holding you back, uncovering your limiting beliefs, and helping get you out of your own way. Most people can self-identify pretty early on that the biggest obstacle in their way is them. So the work is about getting out of the way so the path can become clear and you can move forward on whatever it is that you deeply desire for yourself. So when it comes to uncovering limiting beliefs, there are a couple things that I want to preface with. The first is that for most people, there's some inner sense and inner knowing that something's holding them back. And they know they want to move past it. They know they're meant for something bigger, something more, and they're ready for something to change. And again, they know there's a part of them that knows that the thing holding them back is themselves and their own fears. But those are some safe assumptions we can make. If you're here listening and this podcast topic spoke to you, it's probably because you know that you are working with some limiting beliefs. You are ready to figure them out and move through them. You're ready for something to change. You're ready for more, ready for something that might feel a little bit scary, but that you know you deserve and know you deeply want. So those are some things to, again, preface the rest of the episode. So what I want you all to do is think about your life 1 year from today, as if everything went the way you wanted them to. No ifs, ands, or buts, no fears, no doubts, no assumptions. If everything went the way you wanted them to, what would that look like? And I'm going to be silent for about a full minute here, because I think so many answers come from moments where we decide to press pause and just listen to what comes up. So I'm going to pause for about a minute and give you all the space to think about and envision life 1 year from today. And as we're coming to a close on this minute, also realize that so powerful to just pause and sit in silence and think about something with intention and focus your thoughts on something that excites you. I will invite you all, if you need to press pause to grab a piece of paper and a pen, please do that now. If you want to also just jot some things down on your phone, also cool. If you're driving, maybe come back to this before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning. But what I want you to do is write down what came up. Thoughts, feelings, actions, outcomes, goals, people, names, whatever it is that came up for you in this 1 year from today vision. Put it down on paper. If you want to take it one step further, make it real by calling somebody on the phone after this episode and saying it out loud to someone. A big part of getting out of your own way and uncovering limiting beliefs is accountability. So much of the time, we keep our desires, our dreams, our visions for ourselves in our own minds. And maybe we don't even give ourselves permission to ask ourselves what we really want. But once you give yourself the time to do this and write it down, by saying it out loud to somebody else, you're doing a couple things. One is you're affirming to yourself that these are things that I want, and I believe that I'm deserving of them, and I believe that it's possible, because if the belief did not exist, if you did not believe that you could have the things you wanted, you would never take action and never speak it out loud. So by speaking it out loud, you're telling yourself that you believe it's possible and that you deserve it. And you're also, again, the accountability piece comes into it, right? Now that you said it out loud, put it down on paper, told somebody else who you care about, who cares about you, there's one more reason why you now can't not take action, right? So giving yourself the time to press pause, ask yourself what you want. What does life look like ideally in a year? Dream, right? Learning to dream again, remembering how to dream, and bringing somebody else into the process with you. So those are my initial thoughts. Next, what that takes us into is a conversation about reverse engineering. A lot of times when we get in our own way, it's because we don't have a super clear vision of where we're going. So that's when, again, the uncertainty, the doubts, the assumptions, the fears get in the way. So it's about having this idea and this vision as clearly as you can get it defined, and ask yourself, okay, if that's where I want to be in 1 year, what does that look like 11 months from now, right? So you're kind of working backwards to figure out what that means for tomorrow. But a lot of times it's not until we have that end vision, or mountain is what I like to call it, clarifying the direction we're going, that we feel comfortable taking the next step, because we need direction, right? And what this 1 year vision does is give us some sense of direction. So how can you reverse engineer? Ask yourself, okay, well, if that's where I want to be, what will that take? And how do I work backwards from that point? Now, let's talk about some of the mindset stuff that comes up when we're getting in our own way again. Most of it is just thoughts that are keeping us feeling a certain way and doing or not doing what we want to be doing, and therefore affecting the results that we're seeing. So some of the common limiting beliefs that I hear a lot, and this can be in any context, relationship, career, business, anything related to you and your life and how you're spending time, these thoughts and, in some ways excuses can come into the picture. So the first is, it's too late. It's too late to have what I want, to do what I want, to fill in the blank. The other is, well, they'll judge me, right? The fears around judgments and, well, everyone's going to think that I'm crazy for doing this because I got my master's in this thing, and this thing that I actually want to do is so far from what I have my degree in. Or it's too risky, or I'm starting over and I really don't want to start over, or, I just don't know all the pieces. I don't know how. I don't know what I really want. First of all, you do. So trust that you do. But also question these thoughts as they come up for you. Is it true that it's too late to do what you want? Is it true that this person's going to think this thing? Can you prove it in front of a judge in court? Most likely the answer to that is no, and you'll realize very quickly that you're literally directing your energy, time, and spending your life based off of thoughts that are false. So it's challenging the truth of these assumptions, challenging the truth of your thoughts. That's the first piece. And again, this goes back to the fact that we look for evidence for why we're right. Our minds are constantly looking to prove ourselves right. So if you are sitting in this narrative and belief pattern around, oh, but it's too late to make a change, or it's too late to do what I want, you're only going to look for proof that you're right. So the key to reversing these patterns and creating new patterns is to look for proof that you're wrong. Look for proof that it's not too late. Look to see what will make you believe that what you want is possible. If a belief is that they'll judge me, you'll probably go to people who you know will fulfill that for you. So it's the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's the cycle that continues to perpetuate. So how can you start looking for evidence of the opposite of your thoughts? So how can you look for truth and work based out of a place of truth? Trust me, it'll feel a lot better, and it will motivate you to feel differently and take action that will actually get you closer to where you want to be. Now, let's get into one example that might illustrate this a little bit more. So someone might be in a situation where, they want to change industries, right? They've had a career in design, and now they want to get into project management. Who knows? I'm just making this up. So to keep yourself in a place of comfort and security and safety, your mind might start telling you that, well, no one's going to think my experience in design is relevant. I'll never get my foot in the door anywhere. Doing something new means I'll have to start at ground zero, and it's way too risky, and I could never be successful doing what it is that I want. And again, it's just you open the floodgates and all these different negative beliefs and self-doubts come into the picture. When you're thinking those thoughts, or I should say when your mind is thinking these thoughts, you're going to feel frustrated, stuck, uncertain, unworthy, undeserving, probably really confused, unsure of what you actually want. You'll start doubting what you want because of the thoughts your mind is now placing in your headspace. And when you're feeling those things, you'll probably not tell anybody what you actually want to do or how they can help you find the job you're looking for. You won't ask for help. You'll get stuck in what we call analysis paralysis, where all the options of all the things you could do become so overwhelming that you just decide to stay right where you are and zip your mouth shut and suck it up and settle. And the end result being that you don't get your foot in the door anywhere. You stay right where you are, which in your mind has become defined as ground zero, right? But that end result is just a reflection of the thoughts your mind is placing on you. You're looking for proof that you won't get your foot into the door anywhere, which keeps you stuck, which keeps you from saying anything, which keeps you from asking for help, which keeps you from turning to your network. So yeah, you're not going to get your foot in the door anywhere, but that's not because changing industries is stupid or not possible, right? So it's about taking that thought, asking yourself, is it true that my experience is not relevant? Is it true that doing something new means I'll have to be starting over? Is it true that it's too risky? What if the opposite was true instead? What does make my experience relevant? How will I get my foot in the door? Let's look for some solutions. Why is doing something new just the next step and not me starting over? Why is doing something new not too risky at this point? And what proof do I have, objective, factual proof, that I will be successful doing what I want? That, I promise you, will open up your headspace to a whole other side of possibility when all you've looked for are reasons why, again, you can't have or do what it is that you want. Now, the other question to ask yourself in these situations when you're feeling like you're super in your own way, you're stuck, you're being held back by your own mindset and limiting beliefs, is to just ask yourself simply, what do I want to feel instead of what I'm feeling? If I'm feeling stuck, frustrated, uncertain, anxious, doubtful, angry, low confidence, whatever it might be, what do I want to feel instead? Creative, excited, hopeful, connected. Okay, well then how do you start designing your days in a way that helps you cultivate what you want to feel? Because when you feel better, when you can intentionally choose what you want to feel, you can start designing your thoughts and creating actions that will support the way you want to feel and therefore lead to the results that you want to see. It is game changing. And what I want to kind of wrap up with ultimately is this idea that, yes, feeling safe feels comfortable and good, but why do we assume that leaving this comfort zone will be worse in some way? I think that's what ends up happening is we start telling ourselves that where we are is the best and that there's that like we're just crazy to want anything different and we should just be happy and we're lucky to be where we are and that who are we to want more? But today is the day where you give yourself permission to stop playing so small, to stop settling, again, whether this is work-related, life-related, relationship-related, in whatever way this might apply for you. Today is the day where you stop playing small, ask yourself what you want to feel, look for truth, stop feeding into these negative thought patterns and beliefs that your mind is creating to keep you safe, and move into a place of action. So some questions I'll leave you with are, who do you need to have a conversation with to make what you want real for yourself? Who is going to hold you accountable to making the changes you want to make so that you do finally get out of your own way? Second one is, what's one thing that you can start? What's the starting point for you? Again, you don't have to know the whole plan A to Z. What's step number one that will get you one step closer to this end 1 year vision you created at the beginning of the episode? The next is, how will you reach your point of no return? So I'll explain this a little bit. This is the idea that once you do X thing, you can't not move forward. So for some people, it's once they make an investment in their idea or in their business or in themselves or whatever it is, like once they put money down on the line, they no longer can't not take action. So for some people, it's financial. For some people, it is just the accountability that comes from telling somebody. For some people, the point of no return is when they announce to, Facebook, Instagram, they put it out there into the world that, hey, here's what I want. And what happens then is that now that everybody knows, there's no turning back, right? So what's that point of no return for you going to look like? And then the last two are to consider why what you want matters to you. If it doesn't matter enough, you're going to continue being the biggest obstacle in your own way. So how can you be pulled by this bigger vision and mission and sense of purpose and why behind what it is? Stay hyper-focused and clear on the why this matters to you. And lastly, it's considering, what if nothing changed? What if you didn't take action? What if things stayed the same? If there's no consequence to that, if you would be fine, if your mind is tricking yourself into thinking that you'll be fine in the short term, maybe, but think long term a little bit. If you were not to make any changes, if you continue to be the biggest obstacle in your own way and stay in your limiting beliefs and stay in your assumptions and doubts, what would happen? And if you realize that the main thing that's coming up for you is just fear, that's okay. It's just that. It's just fear. Fear does not deserve the power that we give it to be the reason we don't take the steps we want or make the changes we want in our lives. So if it is fear, you all know where I'm about to go with this. Talk to fear, write a letter to fear, dear fear, and address a couple different things. The first is why fear is showing up for you. At the end of the day, fear is trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you alive. So how do we come at it with gratitude instead of anger instead and say, thank you, fear. I see what you're here to do. I understand, I appreciate, but I don't need you right now. Here are the ways that you're actually hurting me. Here's what you're stopping me from doing, getting, seeing, saying, wanting, deserving. And what does fear need to hear from you to move aside? Most likely fear needs to hear from you that you're just going to be okay, right? Like, I'm good, fear. I'll be good. Don't worry about me. If I need you, I will let you know. But please step aside. I'm ready for what is to come. So, takeaways from this. Number 1, the power of mindset and belief. Believing that what you want is possible. Believing that it's possible to get out of your own way. And getting excited about the thought of the path feeling a little less heavy. The second is accountability and putting language to what you want. And then the third is taking action. One thing. And again, trusting that you'll know what you need to do next as you go. That is all I have for you all, folks. A little bit about how to get out of your own way, how to move into a place of action, and how to uncover some of your limiting beliefs. Thank you all for tuning in. In the spirit of getting out of my own way and not buying into this belief that I have to have everything figured out before I put anything out into the world, I do want to share with you all that I am working on something really exciting and high level is that my coaching is transitioning a bit from career and business to what we call transformational coaching. So transformational coaching is essentially coaching to help people change the way they perceive themselves, to change the way they think about themselves in order to change the way they're feeling, the things they're doing, and the results that they're seeing. And so I will explain in a lot more detail soon what my work is going to look like moving forward. But the coaching program that I am putting together for you all is a year-long women's group for women who are very deeply ready to do the inner work, to turn inward, to get to know themselves, to focus on personal development and spiritual growth. And twice in the year, we will all be meeting for weekend-long immersive in-person retreats. Now, a lot of the details are still TBD, but I'm taking a taste of my own medicine and putting this out there, holding myself accountable to making this happen for you all because it feels so right and so exciting for me to be thinking about and creating in this new stage of my own business and my own brand as all of this comes to life. So I will be sharing a lot more about that in the coming months. The vision for me is that this group starts in August, so that means applications and all of that good stuff will roll out in the next month or two, so stay tuned. And if you're interested in hearing more about it, you hopefully know how to reach me. I am most easily reachable on Instagram at Tallia Deljoux. I appreciate you all being a part of this journey with me. As always, this is for you in the service of supporting you all. So yeah, that's all I got for you folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we have the most awesome conversation set to go live next week. I cannot wait for you all to tune in, and I will catch you next week. Sincerely, me.